Approximately 15 years ago, I was diagnosed with my first brain tumor. Gotta stop. So this is the hard part to say, but it really is a snowmobile story. About 15 years ago, I was diagnosed with my first brain tumor. And at the same time, my machine blew up. I blew up the engine. So I was thinking, oh no, I got this medical issue, I'm not gonna be able to ride. Well, Darren surprised me and he bought me a brand new machine for Valentine's Day. So between Valentine's Day and the end of season, I think I put on about 1,500 miles, which was pretty big for me. It was a pretty big thing. But when someone asked me, what do I think about snowmobiling? It was a release. It was my ability to not worry about anything else that was happening in my life. It just let me focus on having fun and getting out there and, you know, enjoying the snow and so forth. So my name's Barbara Kanya and I'm president of the Victoria Beach Snowdrifters. The Victoria Beach Snowdrifters originally started in 1964, and it was by local people that wanted to create community within the community. The only thing that you could do in the winter really was curling. So what they started was a snowmobile club that allowed families to actually get together, ride, you know, for literally a couple kilometers and have a hot dog. And over the years, the club has grown. It actually has waxed and waned. When we got involved with the club, it was actually at the position of shutting down. And we ended up resurrecting the club. And now we're sitting at 203 members. I think one of the biggest things for me is, by building the club, is seeing, first of all, the amount of women that are coming out riding with us. Because in the past, it was always, you know, a couple husbands and wives and mostly guys. Now we're seeing more women, and we're seeing families come out.
Yeah, VB Snowdrifters. So they are one of the clubs that's part of Snowman here in Manitoba. So one of the snowmobiling organizations that has about membership of about 56 clubs. Barbara, who's the president of VB Snowdrifters, actually sort of elicited a bit of a cold call to me, and we connected that way so that I could learn more about it and talk to her about the grant opportunity.
And the grant seemed like a great opportunity, but unfortunately it was due in a couple days. So it was like, what can we do? We were going to our Congress for Snowman, and we're in the car and we're driving on the way to Brandon, Manitoba. And I had this grant that I could fill out, but I was filling it out in the vehicle and I needed to have sponsorship from Yamaha dealership. And it was like, okay, well, we have so many Yamahas in our club. My household has 3 of them. So where are we gonna go? Well, of course, Winnipeg Sport and Leisure.
The Stay Outdoors grant from Yamaha was the catalyst to starting this relationship with VB Snowdrifters. So I think it's opened a great opportunity for dealers to actually be engaging with people that are using and playing and living with the product. So we've been around Winnipeg Yamaha in the 1980s. So the primary Yamaha dealership here in Winnipeg and the greater Manitoba region, actually. And then in 2008 is when we actually merged some marine lines in, and snowmobile remained apart with motorcycles, ATVs, all the power sports stuff. The snowmobile community in Manitoba, it's huge. So this morning I was actually looking, because I used to snowmobile in northwestern Ontario, so I was looking to understand the Manitoba network. It goes all the way across up north to Flin Flon, there's Thompson, there's Sled, like you could go from Winnipeg to Flin Flon on a snowmobile. The network is huge. It's huge because I think that Manitoba is notoriously so cold during the winter. So people are looking for a way to get outside, to embrace that lifestyle, to look for something to do if they're not a traditional, you know, snowbird or somebody necessarily that's gonna leave Manitoba for the winter time. So there's this really enthusiastic bunch of people that volunteer their time, they volunteer funds, they're passionate riders, no matter the sled. Yamahas are prolific on a lot of the trails. And they're just keeping it going so that people enjoy the cold, which is good.
So right here we have all our trail signs. One of our most important ones is that we want everybody to watch out for private property. You know, stay on the groomed trail, don't go off trail. When we had to make an amendment to our trail, we knew that it was going to cost quite a bit of money. We needed to actually get the land surveyed. We need to hire contractors to remove trees. It wasn't just going to be something that we could go into Crown Lands and use a chainsaw. So when we had this large project, it was like, oh, we're going to have to get some grants for this. And sure enough, the Yamaha grant came through and helped us out, because if we were unable to get this grant, there was a possibility that a portion of our trail system would close down. So to ensure that we're honoring Yamaha Canada and enabling riders to know that this trail was paid for by Yamaha Canada with the Sport of Winnipeg Sport and Leisure, we had our sign made. And we're gonna have this at the beginning of the trail and at the end of the new trail. This made me feel like I'm a contender with any other club in Manitoba, and that we are valid, that we're strong, and that we're here for the future. Yeah, not too bad for Victoria Beach Snowdrifters.